Imagine standing on your porch, watching the sun dip low over fields you've worked with your own hands, when suddenly the roar of an engine tears through the calm. A flash of metal, laughter, and arrogance. That's when I knew this wasn't an accident. This was war. Before all this madness, life on my farm was steady, predictable, the kind of quiet most folks dream about but never truly get. Mornings meant the smell of fresh coffee, the creak of the old porch swing, and the low hum of cattle in the distance. My fields stretched wide, golden under the sun, a promise passed down through 4 generations of sweat and calloused hands. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. Every fence post, every furrow in the soil, carried my family's story. That's why the land wasn't just dirt. It was legacy. For years, nothing disturbed that peace. Seasons came and went, neighbors waved from dusty pickups, and the loudest sound was the cicadas at dusk. Then one day that calm cracked. The roar of a luxury car shattered the air, and behind the wheel sat someone who didn't know or care what respect meant. The first time Karen drove across my farm, I thought it was an honest mistake. Her shiny car rolled through like it owned the place, tires spitting gravel as she waved from behind oversized sunglasses. When I flagged her down, she laughed, pointing to her GPS. "Maybe don't put your farm where people need shortcuts," she sneered before flooring it, leaving me coughing in dust. I wanted to believe she'd simply taken the wrong road. But the next day she returned. Music blared, her exhaust rattled the windows, and this time she didn't even slow down. By the 3rd drive, she had friends in tow, engines snarling like a pack of wolves. By the 4th, she'd pulled out her phone and gone live. Every pass left scars. Fence posts broken, soil torn up, livestock spooked. But it wasn't just the damage. It was the smirk, the mockery in her wave, the complete disregard for the word private. Karen wasn't lost. She was daring me to stop her. It wasn't enough for Karen to trespass. She had to perform. Her live streams became a circus act at my expense. She'd roar across my pasture, sunglasses flashing, her phone angled just right for the golden hour. Thousands of viewers tuned in, spamming laughing emojis and comments. "Queen of shortcuts," one wrote. "That farmer looks ready to explode." "LOL," another sneered. Meanwhile, my animals scattered in terror. My goat limped for days after diving into a ditch. My cattle bolted at the sound of her engine. Crops I'd spent months tending were flattened in seconds, all so she could rack up likes. I gripped the railing of my porch until the wood cracked beneath my hands. She wasn't just trampling dirt. She was trampling my work, my livelihood, my dignity. The worst part? She wanted me angry. She wanted me humiliated. And the more I stayed silent, the bolder she became. I did what any sane man would do. I called the sheriff, explained the situation, sent photos of the damage, left voicemails that went unanswered. When I finally got a deputy on the line, he sighed. "Trespassing's hard to prove without evidence. Best thing you can do is talk it out." "Talk it out?" I tried. Karen laughed in my face. Another deputy shrugged it off. "You know how those HOA types are. Always stirring trouble." And that was the truth of it. Karen came from the gated community down the road. Money bought her influence, and influence bought silence. My word against hers carried no weight. So the law wouldn't help me. My patience was gone. And if Karen wanted to make this into a show, then I was going to write the ending. I started watching, observing. Karen was predictable. She always came late afternoons, Fridays or Sundays, chasing the glow of the sun for her streams. She dressed like she was walking a runway, not crossing farmland. Bright colors, oversized jewelry, caked on makeup. Her car sparkled like it belonged in a showroom. And every single time she chose the same path. The smoothest stretch across my pasture. The same low spot just past the corral. That spot sparked an idea. I remembered the time a tractor sank there after heavy rain, swallowed by the clay until I needed 2 machines to pull it out. So I prepared. After chores, I worked in the dark, rigging sprinklers under straw and soil, mixing in clay and fertilizer until the ground looked normal but wasn't. A welcome mat of mud. I tested it with a hay bale, watched it sink slow and steady. Perfect. Now all I needed was patience. 3 days passed without a trace of her. Just the sound of cicadas and the wind rattling cornstalks. I began to think maybe she'd grown bored. Then, on the 4th evening, I heard it. The low growl of her engine, bass thumping across the hills. My heart pounded, but I leaned on the fence like I had all the time in the world. Karen crested the ridge, phone high, grin plastered across her face. "Shortcut Queen strikes again," she shouted into her live stream. "And look, farmer boy's already out here." She waved like I was her co-star. But not this time. Her Lamborghini barreled toward the same stretch as always. My thumb brushed the remote in my pocket. 30 yards, 2010. I pressed the button. First, nothing. The car glided smooth. She laughed louder. Then came the sound, the wet slurp of earth giving way. The rear tires sank an inch. Then 2. She hit the gas, a fatal mistake. Mud sprayed high as the wheels dug deeper, spinning in futility. The car lurched once, then froze, nose dipping like a bow to the earth. Karen's laughter stopped. Panic flashed across her face, and I just folded my arms, letting nature finish what I'd started. Her followers watched live as panic replaced arrogance. She shrieked, flung open her door, and plunged designer shoes into muck. The more she struggled, the deeper she sank. "This is sabotage," she screamed, pointing her mud-smeared phone at me. "He trapped me." Her words rang hollow against the sight of her car slowly disappearing beneath the soil. My neighbor Harold pulled up, rolled down his window, and chuckled. "Looks like your field swallowed a whale." Then he drove off, laughing. I raised my phone, red recording light glowing. "You've been live-streaming your own trespassing for weeks. Thanks for the evidence." Her jaw dropped. The internet that once cheered her on now mocked her downfall. And I didn't need to say a word. The mud spoke loud enough. By the next morning, Karen's humiliation was everywhere. Clips of her sinking Lamborghini spread like wildfire. People added dramatic music, slow motion, even captions. Karma in action. Karen tried to fight back, threatening lawsuits. But her own live streams and my recordings painted the truth clear as daylight. She trespassed. She destroyed property. And now her precious car was a mud-caked monument to arrogance. The sheriff finally took notice. Not because of my calls, but because half the county had seen her confession broadcast in real time. For once, the evidence was undeniable. Standing on that fence line, I realized something. This wasn't about revenge, it was about respect. About protecting land built by generations of hands tougher than mine. Karen thought wealth and arrogance made her untouchable. But the land doesn't care about money. Soil humbles everyone eventually. Her Lamborghini sat half-buried like a tombstone to pride. A reminder that some lines can't be crossed without consequence. To anyone watching, protect what's yours. Don't waste energy on petty fights, but don't let arrogance trample over you either. Stand firm. Be patient. Let truth do the talking. Because out here, the dirt remembers.